Alright, so in this video I want to talk to you about purpose and passion and fulfilment and just really loving what you do and where you're going in life. And I want to shed some insight and perspective in my own journey as being an entrepreneur for 10 years and the cycles that I've gone through when it comes to this very topic. I think we live in a world today where there is more emphasis than there ever has been on being fulfilled by what you do and having passion for what you do and making your career or whatever it is that you do a lot more than just a paycheck. And I couldn't agree more with these kind of thoughts and perspectives. I think it's really important in life that you find fulfillment. I couldn't imagine my life now without feeling fulfilled by what I do. But at the same time, I have gone through multiple cycles, and I was actually having a conversation with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago. We went for a catch-up drink, and he said to me, "Stu, I really envy you. You've really got it together. You really know where you're going. You really know what impact you want to have. You really love what you do. You're always onto something that you're really excited about." And he said, "I just don't have that. I feel like there's something missing." And this is a great guy. He's in a good career with he's having great positive impact. He gives up his time for non-for-profit, and he gives time to charity. And like I say, what he does for a living, he's having a positive impact and everything else. And I said to him, I can relate to what you're saying. I can assure you right now that I've had my own times of feeling lost and even insecure about where I'm really going with life, and knowing that I should be passionate about what I'm doing, but feeling like there is something missing. And what I sort of came to realize, again, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs in particular go through this, as do others, but a lot of entrepreneurs do, is that we're always very focused in where we're going. We're always very focused on what's next. Whether it's a personal thing, like buying a next home or first home, or reaching a certain income goal, or achieving a certain recognition, having a certain impact, whatever it is. And when you're always focused on what's next, and you're always focused on what you want to get to, it creates this situation where there's a lot of awareness about what you haven't achieved, what you haven't got, what's missing. And what that creates is this feeling of lack, and it takes away from us being grateful for what we do have and where we are at. And here's the biggest issue with that. The biggest problem with that is I believe that is one of the biggest reasons people aren't present and don't enjoy the journey that they're on, the journey of life. I think that the fulfillment to me now, more than anything, is about being present and enjoying the journey. It really isn't so much about even my mission in life and my vision for the future. Fulfillment for me is, do I wake up every day grateful for the journey that I'm on? And they talk a lot about people on their deathbed and their regrets, and one of the key things that people talk about is how they wish they had just enjoyed life a bit more. They wish that they hadn't worried so much. And I lost my dad a year and a half ago, young. He was 63. I lost a cousin, Victoria, 29 years old, with cancer. And being around both of them and going through that experience, it was a lot of pain. And if you've lost anyone who's really close to you, I know that you know what I'm talking about. For me, I didn't really know the feeling of loss. I always imagined it would be really hard, and I always tried to relate to anybody going through loss, but until I'd actually experienced it, I didn't realise quite how painful it was going to be. And the thing that really played on my mind so much was the lives that they lived. In particular, when I think about my dad, we had a couple of conversations where he talked about, in so many words, I guess, regret, and things that were playing on his mind. And it makes you stop and think, and it makes you think, life can finish at any time. All we have is the present. All we have is now. Even the past really is not that relevant. Even the future is not that relevant. What matters most is now. So if you're not feeling fulfilled now, if you're not taking the time to appreciate what you've got now, when are you going to? Because it's highly unlikely that it will be on your deathbed. So here's where I'm going with this. If you get too much into your own head and you put too much pressure on yourself to feel a certain way about a certain thing or a certain outcome, then you're automatically stopping yourself from being present and really being grateful for where you're at. And okay, maybe right now you're not changing the world, or maybe right now you haven't hit the goals that you have in life, and maybe you are ambitious, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I think that it's fulfillment is something that's probably, certainly my opinion, is misunderstood, because it's almost like we have to be having a certain impact or result in order to feel it. And maybe we reach a certain goal and it gives us a certain level of fulfillment at that point. But then the next goal comes along and we've kind of forgotten about that thing that we just reached. And so that isn't really the answer to fulfillment. I think the answer to fulfillment is, yes, knowing where you want to go, knowing what you want to do, but more important than anything is just taking the time to enjoy life. Better way of me probably sort of sharing this perspective is, let me share a story with you I heard once. I believe this is a Paulo Coelho short story. He's the author of The Alchemist. If you haven't read the book, I highly recommend it. But here it is. There's a Brazilian businessman, and he's on a beach in Brazil, and he sees this fisherman coming off his boat, his very small boat, with a net full of great big fish, 3 or 4 big fish. And the businessman can't help himself. He walks over and he says, wow, how long did it take you to catch these beautiful fish? And the Brazilian fisherman says, not all that much time. I can get out in the morning and it doesn't take too long. And he said, well, what are you going to do now? And he said, I'm going home and I'm going to feed the family. And the businessman says, well, let me ask you this. If you were to stay out for the rest of the day, surely you would be able to catch a lot more fish. And the Brazilian said, the fisherman said, yeah, but I don't need any more fish. This is enough to feed my family. We'll do great on what I've caught. And he said, well, what are you going to do with the rest of your day? And the fisherman said, well, I'm going to go home. As I said, I'm going to feed the family. I'm going to play with the kids. And then I'm gonna have a nap in the afternoon with my wife, and then after that I'm gonna head out and have some drinks with my friends, and we're gonna play the guitar, we're gonna have a dance, and we're gonna sing the night away, and then I'll come home and have a great night's sleep and head out tomorrow morning and do a spot of fishing. And then the businessman says, look, I've got a PhD, an MBA, whatever, in business, and I think I can help you out. This is what you should be doing. Let's get you out and spend most of the day out and catch more fish. And when you catch more fish, you're going to be able to sell them and you're going to make more money. And then when you make more money, you're going to be able to get a bigger net and then catch more fish. And then as you catch more fish, you'll be able to get a bigger boat. And then as you get a bigger boat with a bigger net, you'll be able to go out and get some more boats and get some staff and grow a team of people. And then as you start catching all of these extra fish, you'll be able to expand and put the fish into tins and create a whole production and sell. And then when you get really big, what I'll be able to do is help you take your business and take it public on the stock exchange, and you will become rich. And the fisherman says, and then what? And the businessman says, well, and then you'll be rich. You'll be able to live in a great big home, and you'll be able to, buy anything that you want, and, life will be absolutely great. And then the businessman says, okay, all right, and then what? And then the businessman says, well, then eventually you can, move to a house by the fishing village. You can get up in the morning and you can, have no pressure, and catch a few fish, and then go home, spend time with your kids and your family, and eat the fish you've caught, spend time with your wife, have a nap in the afternoon, and then go out in the evening and sing, play the guitar, have a drink with your friends, and really, really enjoy your life. And the fisherman says, well, isn't that what I'm already doing? So I think that's a great story, and the reason so is because I think it absolutely represents so many of us who are so focused on the things that society says that we should want, that we forget to really be self-aware and focus on the things that are most important to us. Most people get started with businesses, and I've seen this a lot in the online space, having a startup community of thousands of people who are getting their businesses up and running, and the idea of having all of the successes that can come, especially with online businesses. We really think about all the things like being able to have more time freedom and have the ability to make more money than what often we would do in a career, the ability to travel and explore and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, can't tell you how many times I see people who are not enjoying the journey. They're putting so much pressure on this future outcome. They're putting so much on this desired result that they're after. And the vicious circle can often be that they start enjoying even less their current career or whatever it is that's keeping them afloat. They spend less time doing the things that they enjoy doing because they've got to get this business going and they've got to get this business successful. And then as a result of that, it can sometimes be detrimental to the relationships, whether it be with their spouse or their kids, because everything is focused around this desired outcome. And it just does not need to be that way. There is nothing stopping you in this example of starting a business, doing your side hustle, working, in the evenings, taking the pressure off in terms of, not suggesting that you have to do it by a certain time and a certain deadline, but actually by focusing on building and growing a business that you do feel aligned with, you do feel passionate about, marketing or selling something that you believe in, there's every reason to enjoy that journey, the process of building that business. For me, the first year was all about the hustle. It was get the business up and running and make a bunch of money. In the second year, I really traveled and explored the world, and I've got to be honest, I loved it. The third year became much more about what's next. That's when I really got into the headspace of what's next, and that's when I became less fulfilled, because I brought more awareness around fulfillment. You see, I went through this period of traveling the world and buying my nice cars and achieving all of these things, and I'd never really questioned what my purpose was in life. I was just kind of getting on with life and doing my best. It wasn't till I really started to question what my bigger mission is in life and my purpose that I started to have get in my own way. And I don't regret any moment of that, because I think it was that shift in that period I went through where I started questioning a lot of things that has led me to be more fulfilled and really focus on the impact that I want to have and growing a business that I really believe in. But at the same time, there was several years where I would say there was suffering, from not enjoying the journey and putting so much emphasis on what's next. And, the last few years, I can say that I've slowed down a little bit on my thoughts and taken less pressure, put less pressure on myself when it comes to specific outcomes, how many people I can help, how many lives I can change, how much revenue we can generate, how many commissions I can pay to my affiliates. And really just focus every single day on the journey and being grateful for where I'm at and being grateful for the opportunity to live in the world that we live in today, to be able to be creative and have an impact and do the things that we're doing. But I also don't set unrealistic expectations on myself in changing the world overnight, having a bigger impact than maybe what's realistic, and just knowing that every single day I'm taking small steps in many instances to the bigger picture. but enjoying it. And I believe that it's just a mindset shift. If you can put focus on building something that you believe in, that you feel passionate about, but rather than being so focused on the outcome of quitting your job maybe, or earning a certain level of income, and be more focused about the people you surround yourself by. Be more grateful for those interactions and those people, the new relationships you're forming, the new things that you're learning, the new insights that you're gaining. A lot of this is, personal growth. As entrepreneurs, I think the thing that's underestimated most is how much personal growth we need to do. But if we are on a journey of personal growth, enjoy it. Those insights and those sort of shifts in mindset are life-changing, and it only takes one shift to make a big impact in our lives, and then as a result be able to share those shifts with others and have an impact on their lives, and we can enjoy that journey. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Certainly enjoyed sharing this perspective with you. Take a little bit of time to set yourself up, doing something you want to do and growing something that you want to grow. But do not live too much in the future. There's nothing wrong, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having goals and aspirations and being ambitious. I'm very ambitious myself. But do not get into that vicious cycle of questioning too much. I found fulfillment and purpose and being passionate about what I'm doing is very easy when I take a little bit of a slower pace and emphasize gratitude and focus on gratitude and focus on the journey itself. All right, hope this has been helpful, and see you in another video soon.